There are 4 small things a woman can do that will make almost any man drop his guard completely. And chances are, you're not doing a single one of them right now. Honestly, you might be doing the opposite, which explains why he isn't opening up, why he isn't the one chasing you, and why that emotional closeness you're craving just isn't showing up. Here's the wild part. These 4 moves are so subtle, so effortless, that when I explain them, part of you won't believe they actually work. It'll seem too simple to matter. But that's precisely the reason they're so effective. Almost no woman is actually using them. In this video, I'm walking you through the 4 feminine behaviors that quietly dismantle a man's defenses. I'll explain the psychology behind why they land so hard, how you'll know they're working, and how to use them in a way that feels genuine to you instead of scripted or manipulative. Before we dive in, if this is helping you, tap that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on understanding men and building the connection you actually want. And do me a favor, drop a comment telling me what city and country you are watching from. I'm also curious, do you honestly believe a handful of small gestures can shift how a man feels about you, or do you think it takes something bigger? I'd love to hear your take, because it helps me understand where you're coming from so I can serve you better. Here's the mistake almost every woman makes. She assumes that pouring on more affection is the key to getting a man to open up. When you're into someone and want him to feel closer to you, what's your instinct? You probably try to prove how much you care. Texting more often, checking in on his day, making yourself endlessly available, complimenting him, dropping everything when he needs you. The logic feels sound. Give enough warmth and attention, and he'll eventually mirror it back. Except that's not what's happening in his head at all. His nervous system doesn't interpret that constant giving as love. It reads it as pressure, as obligation, as someone leaning on him for something. And a man's automatic response to pressure is retreat. He goes quiet. He puts distance between you. Meanwhile, you're left wondering, I was so attentive, so kind, why is he suddenly cold? This isn't a flaw in you. No one ever taught women how male psychology actually functions. We grow up hearing that men want a partner who's warm, nurturing, and always around. But that's not what triggers real emotional depth in a man. That's not what makes him unable to stop thinking about you. His brain simply isn't built like yours. You bond through conversation and closeness. He bonds through something else entirely. Signals shaped over thousands of years of evolution. Not declarations of interest, not visible effort, but specific, almost primal cues that tell him, this one is different. She understands something the others don't. When those cues activate, he can't fight it. His guard drops. He starts pursuing. He opens up without even realizing what shifted. That's what today is about, the 4 triggers that flip this switch. Once you understand them, you'll see exactly why men who overlook most women become fixated on the rare ones who use these instinctively. The first move is what I call the calm pause. It's often the toughest for women to practice because it goes against every instinct. Here's the idea. When he says or does something that would normally send you into reaction mode, chasing an explanation, rushing to respond, trying to smooth things over, you simply don't. You let a beat of silence pass. This isn't about ignoring him or manipulation. It's giving yourself 2 or 3 seconds before reacting at all. Just enough space to breathe instead of scrambling to fill the gap. Why does this matter? Because men are conditioned to expect instant reactions from women. If he takes hours to text back, you probably double text or refresh your phone anxiously. If something he says stings, you likely rush to defend yourself. If he pulls back slightly, you probably chase harder. But when you don't follow that script, when you stay calm instead of reactive, something shifts in him. He notices. His attention sharpens. He starts wondering, why hasn't she responded? Did I mess up? Is she distracted by someone else? That flicker of uncertainty pulls his focus toward you in a way it wasn't before. This isn't a game. It's about becoming less reactive by nature. When you're unbothered, when you're not scrambling after his every move, you send a powerful message. I don't need you to feel whole. I'm fine either way. That message is what draws a man in. Men don't pursue women who already feel secured. They pursue the ones who feel like they might walk away. The calm pause creates just enough uncertainty to make him start putting in effort instead of assuming your attention is guaranteed. Which brings us to the second gesture, the gentle boundary. This is where most women lose their footing entirely. You assume that drawing a line with a man will push him away or make him lose interest. So you avoid it altogether. You tolerate behavior that bothers you because you're afraid speaking up will cost you the relationship. But here's the reality. When you let things slide constantly, he doesn't respect you more for it. He respects you less. And without respect, there's no real opening up, no softening. He just keeps taking. A gentle boundary isn't harsh or an ultimatum. It's not do this or I'm leaving. It sounds more like, I'm not comfortable with that, I need it handled differently, and then you stop talking. No 10-minute explanation, no justifying your feelings for 20 minutes. Just a clear, calm statement, and then you let it sit. Most men will test that boundary at least once, just to see if you mean it. This is the moment that matters most. If you cave the first time he pushes back, you've just taught him your words carry no weight. But if you hold steady, calmly and without anger, his perception of you shifts. He starts to see someone who knows her value, who isn't desperate, who has standards. And that makes him want to step up to meet them. It makes him work harder to keep you. It makes him soften because he realizes he can't coast and expect you to stick around regardless. Men don't cherish what comes free. They cherish what they have to earn. A gentle boundary proves you're not someone who'll accept anything just to hold on to him. That self-respect is what earns his respect in return. And respect is the real foundation of emotional connection. Now here's where things really shift. The third gesture takes everything you've built and elevates it. Once you've stayed calm, held a boundary, and shown him you're not like the women who chase and settle for less, you offer him something unexpected. Real softness, but not the people-pleasing kind. This is softness rooted in strength, not need. I call it surprising warmth, and it rewires how he sees you. Picture this. He's had a hard day and seems distant. Instead of taking it personally or bombarding him with questions, you simply touch his arm briefly, or say quietly, "Sounds like today was tough. I'm here if you need me." Then you stop. No interrogation, no digging for the full story. Just that one moment of care, offered and released. Or maybe he shares something vulnerable mid-conversation. Instead of jumping in with advice or redirecting to your own experience, you simply say, "Thank you for telling me that." No overreaction, no big moment, just acknowledgement. Why does this land so powerfully? Because most women swing to extremes, either constantly warm and available, or guarded and distant to protect themselves. You're doing neither. You're proving you can hold boundaries and still offer genuine warmth when it counts. That blend is what makes you magnetic. When he sees you can stand firm for yourself and still be tender with him, his brain files you as rare, as someone worth holding on to. This unexpected warmth shows him your boundaries were never about coldness or control. They were about protecting space for something real to grow. And once he feels that, he starts opening up in ways he simply doesn't with other women. Which brings us to the fourth and final gesture, arguably the one that locks everything into place. I call it comfortable silence, and it's the most misunderstood of them all. Most women feel compelled to fill every quiet moment with chatter, questions, anything to avoid stillness, worried that silence means he's bored, losing interest, or that you seem awkward. So you talk, you ask question after question, you fill every gap with noise. But what you don't realize is that all that talking is quietly pushing him away. It creates pressure. It makes him feel like he has to perform, to keep things entertaining, like he can't simply exist around you without effort. Comfortable silence works the opposite way. When things go quiet between you, instead of panicking and rushing to fill it, you simply let it be, maybe with a small, easy smile. You come across as content, like you're genuinely happy just being there with him, not needing anything extra, not expecting a performance. Maybe you're sitting side by side watching something, or riding in the car together, or just hanging around and the room goes quiet. Instead of that silence feeling uncomfortable, you just breathe. Your shoulders drop. Maybe you glance at him with a soft expression, then look away naturally. You're not staring, waiting for him to speak. You're not fidgeting or reaching for your phone out of nervous energy. You're simply there, grounded, at ease, glad to be near him without needing constant stimulation to feel okay. This does something remarkable to a man's nervous system. When you can sit comfortably in silence with him, when you don't require him to entertain you or fill every gap with attention, his subconscious reads that as safety. It tells him you're secure, not anxious, not chasing validation. And that lets him relax in a way most women never allow him to. Most women unintentionally make a man feel like he's under a spotlight, constantly performing, constantly being assessed. But you give him the opposite experience. Permission to simply exist. He can sit with his own thoughts. He can be silent when he needs to be. He can just be, without pressure. That kind of freedom is so rare and so valuable to men that once they find a woman who offers it, they don't want to lose her. Comfortable silence proves you're secure enough in yourself and in the connection that you don't need constant reassurance or for him to keep proving himself. You're simply glad to be there, and that contentment doesn't hinge on anything he says or does, it just exists on its own. When a man feels that kind of acceptance from a woman, when he senses he can finally exhale without being judged or tested, that's the moment his defenses fully drop. That's when you start to see a side of him he rarely shows anyone. Now here's why these 4 behaviors work so well as a combination, and this is where the psychology gets interesting. The calm pause taps into something called intermittent reinforcement, the exact mechanism that makes gambling so addictive. When your attention isn't guaranteed every single time, his brain starts paying closer attention to the moments when he does get it. He starts working for it. He starts valuing it more than if it were handed to him constantly. The gentle boundary activates his natural drive toward challenge. Men are wired to pursue what takes effort. When you demonstrate that you have standards and won't tolerate just anything, you become something worth pursuing, and his brain releases the same dopamine that fires when he's chasing a goal or competing to win. The surprising warmth after strength creates what psychologists refer to as emotional range. You're showing him you're layered, genuine, not playing a single flat role. Complexity is inherently attractive. It keeps him curious, wanting to peel back another layer, to understand the different facets of who you are. And comfortable silence activates his parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for rest and calm. When he's around you and feels no pressure, no sense of being tested, his body physically unwinds. Cortisol drops. Breathing slows. He starts associating your presence with a feeling of safety and ease. None of this is manipulation. These are simply natural feminine behaviors that generations of women understood instinctively before we were taught to be endlessly available, accommodating, and focused on chasing male attention. These gestures work precisely because they are authentic. They come from genuine self-respect and a real understanding of how connection actually forms. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're learning to show up in a way that lets him feel safe enough to finally open up. So how do you know these behaviors are actually landing? His body will tell you before his words ever do. There are specific, involuntary signs that reveal his walls are coming down, that he's starting to feel that deep pull toward you, and he can't fake these even if he tried. The first sign, he starts reaching out first. He's the one texting, the one suggesting plans, the one initiating contact. Where you may have once felt like you were carrying the relationship, now he's putting in effort because some part of him is afraid of losing access to you. Second, his voice softens when he talks to you. Men often default to a kind of performance mode, projecting confidence, humor, or composure. But once he lets his guard down, that edge disappears. He starts speaking to you the way he speaks to himself internally, open, unfiltered, real. Third, he opens up about things he doesn't share with anyone else. He tells you about his day unprompted. He mentions his worries, his goals, his passing thoughts, inviting you into his inner world because he finally feels safe enough to let you in. Fourth, his body language shifts entirely around you. Where he may have once kept his distance or held a closed-off posture, he now leans in toward you, finds small reasons to reach out and touch you. The signs are subtle, not dramatic. You'll notice his shoulders drop a little, his expression loosens, and the way he looks at you shifts. It lingers now, like he's truly taking you in rather than just glancing your way. Then comes the future talk. He starts weaving you into his plans. Next week, next month, whatever's ahead. Where he once kept things loose and in the moment, he now can't help picturing what's coming. and he wants you standing in that picture with him. You might also catch a flicker of jealousy when another man is nearby, quick, quiet, and something he tries to brush off. It shows up in a lingering glance, a casual question afterward, a subtle way of staying close without making it obvious. This isn't possessiveness. It's a sign he's invested and doesn't want to risk losing you. And eventually, the guarded stuff starts slipping out. I missed you. You've been on my mind. I really enjoy being around you. Nothing scripted or grand, just honesty escaping because he no longer feels the need to protect himself around you. Here's the part that actually matters. None of this works if you're faking it. If your intention is to manipulate him into feeling something, he'll sense it, even if he can't name what's off. So how do you make it real? It starts with genuine self-respect. Pausing before you react only carries weight if you're truly at peace, whether he responds or not. If you're calm on the outside, but spiraling inside, he'll feel that mismatch. But when your calm comes from a full life, real interests, real joy outside of him, it becomes magnetic. You're not performing detachment, you're just living, and he's part of that life, not its center. Your boundaries need to come from what genuinely matters to you, not from a tactic to make him chase. Set limits around your peace, your dignity, your happiness, not to test him. Boundaries rooted in real self-worth carry a different energy than ones used as bait, and he can tell the difference. Warmth has to be authentic too. Don't force closeness when you're actually hurt or checked out. That reads as fake. But when care rises naturally, let it show. Real tenderness can't be manufactured. The same goes for comfortable silence. If you're quietly panicking, he'll feel it. But if you've done the inner work to be at ease in stillness, that calm becomes powerful. Ultimately, none of this is really about him. It's about becoming a woman who doesn't need outside validation, who sets standards from strength, stays soft from a place of security, and finds peace in quiet moments. And that shift changes more than one relationship. It changes how everyone treats you, because you're no longer chasing, shrinking, or performing. Wrong fit men fade away. Right fit men step up. Here's the expanded script. I kept the same tone and message, built it out into 3 main sections, and sized each paragraph around 1,700 characters. Roughly 280,300 words. So it reads naturally when spoken aloud. So many women think the way to keep a man interested is to be endlessly available, to answer every text within seconds, to rearrange their whole week around his schedule, to say yes even when their gut is quietly screaming no. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Availability isn't attractive. It doesn't create desire. It creates comfort. And comfort without tension is forgettable. Think about the people in your own life you admire most. They are rarely the ones who bend over backward to please everyone. They're the ones who know who they are, who don't need constant reassurance, and who make decisions from a place of calm confidence rather than fear of losing someone. That's what draws people in, not because it's a game, but because self-respect is magnetic. It signals that you have a full life, a strong sense of self, and standards you're not willing to abandon just to keep someone around. When you show up that way, you're not performing distance to manipulate an outcome. You're simply being someone who values herself enough to protect her time, her energy, and her peace. And ironically, that's exactly the energy that makes someone lean in rather than pull away. The moment you stop chasing and start choosing, everything shifts. Not because you're trying to be unavailable, but because you finally become unwilling to shrink yourself for someone else's comfort. Real boundaries are the next piece of this, and they're often misunderstood. A boundary isn't a wall you build to keep people out. It's a form of self-respect that tells the world how you expect to be treated. It might sound like saying, "I need a few hours to think before I respond," or "I'm not comfortable being spoken to that way," or simply choosing not to reply to a text at 1 a.m. because your peace matters more than someone else's urgency. Boundaries paired with honest warmth are what create real intimacy. Not performative niceness, but a genuine willingness to be open, to share your feelings, and to let someone see you while still holding onto your own center. This is where comfort in your own company becomes essential. If you can't sit with yourself in silence, if being alone feels unbearable, you'll unconsciously look to a relationship to fill that void. And people can sense that kind of neediness even when it's never spoken aloud. But when you've built a life you genuinely enjoy, when your own company feels good rather than something to escape, you stop needing someone else to complete you. You start choosing partners from a place of wholeness instead of hunger. That distinction changes everything. Not just how others perceive you, but how you experience yourself in every relationship you enter. So next time you are with someone you like, remember, it's not endless availability that draws him in, it's self-respect, real boundaries, honest warmth, and comfort in your own company. These 4 things, practiced consistently, will do more for your relationships than any script, any trick, or any amount of chasing ever could. They ask you to slow down, to check in with yourself, and to choose your own integrity over the temporary relief of certainty. Which of these feels hardest for you right now? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I want to know where you're struggling so I can keep making content that actually helps. And if you're ready to grow into this version of yourself, the one who leads with self-respect instead of fear, type "I'm becoming her" below. If this resonated with you even a little, like the video, subscribe to Relationship Truth, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We're building a community of women who are done chasing and ready to choose authenticity instead, women who know their worth and refuse to negotiate it away. Thank you for being here, for showing up for yourself today, and for being willing to grow. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.